What's up, YouTube? Hope everybody's doing well. We got a pretty sweet league for you here. So I had the idea the other day of looking again down the list of Dimir 2 drops, 3 drops, or whatever, to try to get some additional value plays. And I thought about Thing in the Ice. Definitely a Pioneer staple, modern staple before when the Arclight, blue-red Arclight Phoenix was tier 0. And I wanted to revisit it for a couple different reasons. Number one, it fits fairly well into the plan we've already been establishing of trying to control the board, use our counter magic, our 1-for-1 interaction, but helps out in some of our bad matchups. So for example, Yawgmoth, Boros, Prowess, where we might be able to get a Thing in the Ice down, block, soak up some early damage, use our 1-for-1 interaction, and then flurry out a little bit with like Consider, Fatal Push, Cling to Dust, whatever the case may be, to flip our Thing in the Ice, bounce all of the non-horrors, which conveniently is basically everything, and attack in with a 7-8 a couple turns and get the game over with. The rest of the deck you've seen a million times. Some of the changes that I made to incorporate Thing in the Ice are 4 copies of Consider in the main, for 2 reasons. One, I wanted a cantrip to help proactively flip Thing. Second, I wanted it to be instant speed specifically so that I could potentially flip Thing in the Ice on my opponent's turn. Even though I would rather flip it on my own more often than not, I like the versatility of being able to flip it on my opponent's turn. We've got a Snapcaster Mage in here to help out with not only flashing back spells, but also really cool to pick up after you flip your Thing in the Ice. Pick up your Snapcaster, snap something melts back. In the sideboard, we got a couple copies of Surgical Extraction to go along with our Snapcaster and Thing in the Ice plan. So yeah, the idea again, just be normal interactive deck, get those first few counters taken off, just counter spelling, Force of Negation, Fatal Push, whatever the case may be, and then hopefully get the last counter or 2 with something like Cling to Dust, Consider, to keep the tempo going. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop into the league so you can see exactly what we got going on, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I had the full 4 grands, but I did absolutely get to grand on 1, discard an Oculus, unearth it on 2 multiple times, and that was dope. All right, I'm gonna Thoughtseize here in case I just naturally draw the land and can get the frog down. Ooh, man, that kind of sucks. Like, I'm taking the Mako, but if I had the second land already and I could just guarantee get down this Bowmaster, I don't want to take the Bolt, because if I don't hit the second land, I run the risk of just not being able to deal with this Mako. And like, if the land is on top, I can respond to the Goblin Lore anyway. I don't need to do anything. On land. Heck yeah. All right. Are we going after Goblin Lore, or are we just getting Frog down? Kind of want to just get the Frog down. If they go land, bolt, I can ditch to force the second bolt and try to race. If they go Goblin Lore, I'm probably just forcing, like force off of Consider. Got a Mako. Now I want to force this. Let's go force, Consider. Pretty good. Show me a land. Untapped land. So easy. Gonna go ahead and exile this Phoenix. Or no, I don't want to exile the Phoenix yet. A pass back. I want to wait on the Bowman because if they don't have like a third land and they put the Goblin Lore on the stack, like if I cast the Bowmaster first, then they guarantee Bolt. If I hold up the Bowmaster and they didn't have a third land, they might go for the Goblin Lore first. I could respond with Bolt and just like blow them out of the water. We're just going to discard. No, if I'm going to discard, I might as well Cling to Dust something to get them farther off of Phoenix. Let's discard the, or Cling to Dust the Faithless Looting. Discard Quantum Riddler. Discard Counter Spell. If our opponent wants to put a Goblin Lore on the stack. Give me the scoop. Show me the scoop. I know you want to. Fortunately, we don't get to kill this Root Walla right here, but that escapes Cling to Dust. Pass with my fetch up. I can hit Vengevine if it goes that direction. I can hit Detectives Phoenix 1, 2. Yeah, they have enough to immediately escape the Phoenix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can exile the Vengevine, and that would stop them from getting back the Phoenix unless they have another spell to cast. Gain me a little life. I feel like I would rather get rid of the Vengevine than get rid of the Arclight Phoenix. And if this is the plan, I want to do this now and not wait for the Mako to resolve, because as soon as the Mako resolves, they get priority for the Arclight Phoenix. So we've got Surgical Extraction, a bunch of cards that are kind of mid. The Root Wall is a 1-drop, right? Yeah. So EE can hit the Root Wall and the Mako. What do I not like? Spell Snare is kind of mid, hits Goblin Lore, and that's like it. Snares mid, Thoughtseize is mid. Quantum Riddler's a little slow. I'll board out the snares, a Thoughtseize, and a Riddler. Keep a couple Thoughtseize in. I want the other Stern Scolding. A lot better on the draw. Then Consign over Thoughtseize. It only answers Hollow One, right? Like there's no other target. I'm sure it hits the return trigger off Vengevine one time. Doesn't seem that good. We'll give it a try, but I think in most games I'm probably not bringing in Consign just to hit Hollow One. It's the grow trigger on the Mako. All these examples don't sound too thrilling to me. Oh, you stop a Mako from getting a 1/1 counter one time. We're going to get some basics in case of Blood Moon. We're going to get some basics in case of Blood Moon. Well, then. I'm going to do the thing. So I'm assuming they're going to spend this next turn just casting Blood Moon. Got it. This. If you discard a card, gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Flying and haste. Let's strategic betrayal. Just go ahead and get the body off the board, but this also sets me up to snap betrayal next turn if they have a follow-up creature. If they have a follow-up creature. The one is cycled. We know they've got another copy of Blood Moon in hand, plus an unknown. I kind of want to get down this second thing in the ice before I cast Surgical. I think I'm going to wait on it. Maybe that changes in the near future, depending on what they discard. Okay. Ox of Agonis. That looks like a surgical extraction target to me. They can't do anything else after this, right? Ox needs 8 cards to exile. I guess I can save a land in case I find a frog. Two, 3, 4, 5. Discard is 6, 7. So this is fine. Guess less fine if they find a Phoenix. Blocks. Hollow one, number 2. Let's go ahead and hit the Ox of Agonis. See the sideboarding. Like they just brought in Blood Moons and nothing else. Brought in Blood Moons, took out some Street Wraiths. All right. Spell. Spell I can cast. That works. So we don't have lethal right here, right? I mean, we're not going to have lethal for like a few turns, but I can cling to dust, the faithless looting, flip the thing, pick up the snapcaster, snap back the surgical on the hollow ones. A response. A response. Play land, sure. Stop on your draw step. Because there's nothing that they had that stops this. Draw, snapcaster, surgical. Surgical, target hollow one. I would love to take your 2 hollow ones out of hand. Ah, I forgot to hit the one in the graveyard. Shit. Hopefully it's okay. Because we can... Yeah. Can we get some love for Thing in the Ice in 2025? All right. That was dope. Thing in the Ice winning through Blood Moon. Thing in the Ice is very nostalgic for me. Shadows was the first Magic set I ever drafted. Hell yeah. It's a pair of TTs. That's a lot of seasoned pyromancers you got there. Be a shame if somebody bowmastered. Dex, what's up? Still have my Thing in the Ices from Standard Phoenix back in the day. Time to pull them back out. I pulled mine out of Pioneer Phoenix just in case. Like maybe. All right, I think I want a frog here. Why do you keep seeing these off-meta red decks? Story of my life. Insert target off-meta deck. prepare to see it a billion times. Even had Korean checklist cards. I don't think I never used checklist cards for like any deck ever. I'm gonna discard this too. Just get this frog out of range of like another discharge. Did back then because the sleeves weren't as good. For years, like I only used black sleeves for any competitive event. So I never had to worry about like not having functional sleeves. Love to use this ability. Mishra's research desk. Oh boy. Discard a Thoughtseize. Pretty good draw. This feels to me like they're just trying to see how many basics I'm running and of what kind. I think I'm just going to counterspell this and like not show them. I know I still have a basic that I can get, but I think I'm just going to try to keep them guessing. That's all it was. They wanted to cleansing wildfire one land and then ghost quarter another to see if I failed to find, so they could know how many basics I was on. I doubt they can get Kaito off the board. As long as I can make it to 3 lands to get it on the board in the first place. Bush looks less exciting. Really, it's like try to get down a threat, because I don't think many of my threats they can answer very well. Just going to keep whatever on top because I'm assuming they're going to cleansing wildfire me. That. Let's get thing in the ice down. Say go. have been demolition fielded. Dark Slick Shores. I don't want to get caught here with I don't want to get caught with two blue, like only two untapped blue lands. Because if my opponent goes for like a ghost quarter on one of these and I have to fetch up a swamp, and I float mana, they can just go to their second main phase and like play around counterspell by resolving something. Ghost quarter me on my own end step. All right, well, if they just keep having more ghost quarters, we're in trouble. Not a ghost quarter. Okay. Keep that on top. Watch any land's a good land. Wildfire ghost quarter. Pretty okay with both of those. Ghost quarter route. So then I will respond with consider because I want to draw that Dark Slick Shores. Maze Mind Tome. That's a pretty good one. We're just taking the Spyros so they can't make tokens. In the face. Price of Freedom, Ghost Quarter. You got it. I do not believe I have another fetchable for this Marsh Flats. Hmm. We do not have a way to cast these Riddlers, no. We've got 2 Dark Slick, 2 Watery Grave, 2 Undercity Sewers, 2 Island, and a Swamp. I guess we could hit a Sink into Stupor. We technically have a play. We also have an out to that in hand. Oh no, fail to find. And that's crazy. Thing in the Ice is 2 for 2 on winning us matches. were we sleeping on Thing in the Ice all along? Is this the sauce we needed? Just the 2040 Thing in the Ice start. I think mono red land destruction only counts as half a match. That's fair. And like, I absolutely recognize that these are 2 off meta red removal decks. And like, Thing in the Ice is going to be pretty good into bolts and stuff like that. We're taking it with a grain of salt. Don't worry. Also won 3 die rolls. That's pretty good. We had a second land. Second land opponent, and you were cooked. Old Prowess. Slick shot's definitely scariest thing in hand. They can also just have Dragon's Rage Chandler online pretty quickly. Card on top. Dice numero uno. They have a Corey Steel Cutter right here. This gets really dicey really quick. It's good. Would I rather hold up strategic betrayal or hold up spell snare or cast strategic betrayal? I don't think getting the second thing in the ice does much for me here. I think I'm just going to betrayal. I don't think they're going to have like a problem building Delirium back up, but I also really like having these thing in the ices staggered. So if I'm able to get to a point where they're online, I can like play one or flip one, and then maybe the turn or two after flip the other. All right, so they've got mutagenic growth unknown. Main phasing of mutagenic growth. Their last card, it's got to be like a lava dart or a bolt, right? Don't think I can afford to take all this damage. Okay. That does give me some extra outs. Not have another spell, please. Okay. Pretty good. Do I want to consider main phase right here? I do. Doing it for me. Cling to dust here. Really need my opponent to not have back to back to back expressive iterations. Lava dart. Rough. opponent seeing 3 baubles and 3 iterations a little, yeah, is a little high roll there. I agree. Like, I can't do too much about that. Just a pretty good series of draws. But you just have to combine it. Like, the 3 iteration, 3 bauble is good. Hitting the second land and the Corey Steel Cutter in 2 of the first 3 draws is also good. They did have a lot of looks at it, so can't be too upset. It's a little bit of a slow hand, but it does have interaction for Corey Steel, Dragon's Rage Channeler on 1, Lyrium. We got a whole lot of nothing. Okay. Let us Undercity. We'll go ahead and cling to dust this bauble. Reasonable. I assume that they've got like Mystical Dispute or Spell Snare or something like that. I'm just going to go ahead and jam the thing anyway. I doubt I'm blocking with it, but I've got Spell Snare plus Force on their turn. They do have the Spell Snare. All right. Kind of hoping that they had like a Spell Pierce instead of a Snare, but is what it is. Quan Chi Tong a good Magic card? I mean, it's a very good Magic card. Is it good in the current Modern format? Okay. Card on top. You like seeing a land drop. Gotta believe that they have some number of like bolt or lava dart effects or something at the moment. I'll let them see this card. Go ahead and consider to see if I want it. Take an EE. Start attacking at some point. Been playing a 3-1, 3 Kaito, no Riddler Frog Pile. Been doing well. Haven't done much real testing, but I went undefeated locals the last 2 weeks. I do like Juan being an earlier threat than Riddler, and another thing to get Kaito into play turn 3. All reasonable assessments. Appcaster is dead. Let him have 2 damage here. Got it. See an Unholy Heat getting used up on a Bowmaster. Okay. Now, probably using engineered explosives at some point this turn. Depends on what they do, but definitely using engineered explosives this turn. But I will not use it until they're in step if I can avoid it. I'm gonna keep that. I kind of see like the way I lose from here is losing a counter war over like a Murktide Regent. So having an extra force doesn't feel that bad. And land. And one-time dealer. Also okay using this this Quantum Riddler here since I've got Counterspell double force up. Like to hit land drops. Spell snare on this. Spell snares, so if they have a follow-up slick shot, I can fatal push. Perfect. But if I went for counter spell on the Corey Steel, I'd have to tap out, and if they had a follow-up slick shot, I wouldn't be able to force negation it. It feels like they want to go all in on this. On Spell Pierce. Dang. Draw. I'm a little more interested in drawing a card here. Any world where you force dart. On the flashback, no. On the first cast, it's okay. If I was in a better position, I might force it at that point, but I didn't really think I was in a good position to force. In that spot, I don't think I'm ever wasting 2 cards. Like, I don't want to spend force counter spell and then go for removal on the slick shot and they have a counter back and I have to pitch second force, second counter spell to win that war. Just like go empty handed with the 1/1 when I can just take the 1 off the 4 or off the dart, still be plenty alive and keep an extra 2 cards in hand. Yeah, like Mystical Dispute or Spell Pierce would make that turn really, really awkward if I went after the dart. Okay, hand. I wish they would have Dragon's Rage Channeler on 1 instead of Swift Spear, but What it is. So if they go for, man, stop having these baubles. I was gonna say if they go for like a preordain here, we fatal push. But if they just go to combat, I can't fatal push because I have to make it look like I'm holding up spell snare for Corey Steel. How we get to push. Now we actually have counter magic for Corey Steel. It also makes the bluff look a lot better now, because like if I shocked in and I was just holding up fatal push and was from their side, if I was bluffing just holding up fatal push, now like you have to really consider the possibility that I've got counter spell in hand. Just kind of like anything that makes Prowess slow down and think is good on my side. There's also a line here that might come up, or two lines that might come up. First, if my opponent puts a Corey Steel Cutter on the stack, I'm probably gonna hard cast a Mystical Dispute on it because it doesn't play around Spell Pierce as well, but it plays around Spell Snare, and they've shown me that. They haven't shown me Spell Pierce yet. The other line is kind of for the same reasons. You can engineered explosives for 3, like blue, black, one more blue or black, but it only comes in with 2 counters, so you can play around spell snare that way. I have a feeling Thing in the Ice may be in 5-0 list. Oh, way to jinx it. We're having a good time up until that comment. All right, we need cards. Plotted show off. Fine. Land. Untapped land. Quite. It is a good card. I don't mind having Bowmaster in a spot where I can just flash it in. Okay. just kind of like last time. If they just swing for one, I'll take one. Take this fight on their end step. Other slick shot. Figured to cast one, then plot another. I think they're just trying to get me to pick a fight. I think they have a very reactive hand, and they're trying to get me to pick a fight like during combat on their turn. That's the vibe that I'm getting. I'm gonna preordain into my Bowmaster. Okay. Happy with that. Speed up my clock a little bit. One on top, one to the bottom. Good draw. Okay. Big turn, big turn, big turn. Shot, show off. I would rather fatal push this than counter it. But Slick Shot is a card that you can absolutely just one shot die to. So I would rather them use up cards while it's on the stack so it's not getting trigger or triggers, and it's giving me an extra layer of interaction, because if it resolves and I go to fatal push, I can't counter it afterwards. But if I go to counter it and they fight over this and it resolves, I can still fatal push. There is the Sterns, or the spell snare. Spell pierce. Spell pierce. Now, do I want to go for the spell snare? I think that I do. They could have a Corey Steel to follow this up, but I do have engineered explosives. Or they have absolutely nothing. Good for the home team. I don't have to play out the engineered explosives yet, because if they do have a Corey Steel Cutter, sure. If they do have a Corey Steel Cutter, then I get to go for counterspell and either it resolves and they don't get a token, or they counter back and they don't get a token. So I don't have to have EE until next turn. Bolt My Face would lead me to believe that they've got another burn spell of some sort. Means they can't make a token this turn anyway. Good for me. Engineered. Is there any reason I would want to play this on 2 instead of 0? It would be so that I have a lethal orc army token next turn. Bro. If you have another spell pierce, it would be really awkward. But I'm not going to just crack the EE if they make a token. Like, I'm going to try to fatal push first so I can keep lethal on board. Obviously depends on like what they have, but pass back, so we'll go for Cling to Dust. I'm like equal parts draw a card and gain some life here. Is there a chance that they just have like triple bolt? All right. I'm just going to be okay being dead to triple bolt. If that's what you got, so be it. Show me triple bolt. Not triple bolt. Heat my token. Lightning bolt me. putting them down to 1 matter here? Shuts off Preordain, Mishra's Bauble. Pretty good one. Pretty good one. Swift Spear. All right, so we declare blocks. Discard this Marsh Flats, see if our opponent decides to do anything. Want to Violent Urge their token. I will crack the Engineered Explosives. That will do it. Strategic Betrayal you for good measure. If they go like Lava Dart, go to flashback, we can respond with Jump the Frog. You know. Would have used that EE. I thought about it. It's just a case of like EE's better into another Corey Steel Cutter. Bolt is better against like a Swift Spear or Slick Shot, or Push is better against Swift Spear or Slick Shot. They've already shown me multiple Slick Shots. They've only shown me one Corey Steel. Yeah, both have their merits. Both definitely have their merits. But Frog was jumping in front of anything they put on the board anyway. Well, if I'm up against a creature heavy deck, this hand's really good. I'm up against something non-creature. I'd rather mulligan for something more proactive. The blind. No. Oh no. This is how the league ends. What was it, like Thursday of last week or something? We played against so much Eldrazi. Thoughtseize, 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 Thoughtseize. Oh, this hand is not shaping out very well against Eldrazi. I need you to not have a Kozilek's command right here. They haven't always played Sanctum, have they? I hate this card so ungodly much. If there was ever a card that I was like 100%, I would put this card on the ban list for purely personal reasons and nothing to do with the power level of the card, Kozilek's command would be it. All right, I'm going to cling to dust here instead of getting a surveil because I really need to find like both a land and a Thoughtseize. And if I just get a surveil, I'm only seeing one card, so it can't be land and Thoughtseize. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. A whole bunch of mana for Eldrazi's. Okay, on to game 2. Insert target cast triggers are stupid meme. Did we see any red producing lands? I don't think I did. So here. Is mono green a thing? Poured out a couple things, thinking the ices, because they're pretty bad with Harbinger on my side, and then I also don't want my opponent picking up like Myco Spawns or Chrysalis or whatever else. Less ill. Ugh. I would not keep this hand on the draw, but on the play, maybe there's a chance I can just free Harbinger and do something relevant. Up counter spell in case our opponent plays like a talisman here. All right, little Harbinger. I need you to do some work, pull some weight. No dismember, no dismember, no dismember, no dismember, no dismember, no dismember, no dismember. Totally have it, don't they? All right. I think I'm just going to go for Strategic Betrayal Warp Riddler here. Got 5 mana available, so they would need a soul land to cast a 7-drop this turn. Just pass it back. Just pass it back. Don't do whatever you're doing. Stop it. Think of the kids. right. Didn't have a land. Ditch. And ditch the Riddler. I think I'm going for draw step, surgical chrysalis. Plenty of ways it goes very, very poorly for me, but I want to use cards. I want to get stuff out of hand. Do have a malevolent rumble. Okay, we hate chrysalis. Yes, we do. What do they had? They had Forest, or they had Sire, Unholy Heat, Rumble. They had a land, but I don't know what land they had. Three, 4, 5, 6. They can just cast this Sire now, can't they? Ah, that's stupid. I hate that. I hate that so much. I don't think I can beat them having Sire here. Woodland's back a Sire next turn. discard that just to make sure I draw 2 on my draw step. Okay, we get a bunch of looks. I don't know what we're necessarily looking for. I can force the chump with the sire. Does my out something like sire or find strategic betrayal? Hold up. Wait a minute. All right, so we jump the frog. We attack with it. They have to block with the sire because they're dead if they don't. We don't attack with the Quantum Riddler. We attack with the frog. Sire has to block this. Discard surgical, discard counter spell. Kill the sire. Strategic betrayal away the ice till and your yard. Now, Unholy Heat's not killing anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're ways off of Emrakul. Add this back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't currently devour me. Was there value in holding back Riddler? If I attack with Riddler, they just block that with the sire. Like, I have to force them to chump the frog so that I can hit the other thing. Take that one. Well, Thoughtseize this there Unholy Heat. Play out our new Harbinger buddy. Oh, man. I don't have a clue how we won that game. Play to your outs, kids. Play to your outs. Now we just have to do it again. Clearly that was all thing in the ice. Yeah, just helping from the sideboard. Part of me wants the Stern Scoldings for the Ice Till Explorers. Fatal Push could be a little bit better. Since it does hit. Well, Scolding hits Chrysalis and Ice Till. Fatal Push hits Chrysalis, Ice Till, and what's his name? Myco Spawn. They all get the cast trigger regardless. I gotta keep this. Isn't Murktide better with Consider? Better at what? What is your goal for playing the card? That's gonna dictate the answer. Eldrazi Temple into Ugin's Lab. Okay. I'm gonna fetch here because I want to incentivize them to go for Kozilek's command right now if they have it, so that I can force and not wait until my turn when it would be much more annoying for me to play around. A lot of Eldrazi mana you got over there. Feel like often having a big flying creature that can end games faster is the solution to the problems. Unfortunately, we can't always have Frog. But that solution's like not good into Solitude though, which is all over the place. All of our threats pretty much are going to be bad into Solitude. Just like a fact of life playing Dimir. The advantage of something like Thing in the Ice is it can arguably be better into Boros, better into the Golgari decks, better into Prowess. Pass back with nothing. I need you to pass back with nothing here. I play 2 Scolding Mane for Solitude and a 3rd in the board. So this is where there's just like a back and forth that we're not going to have a good answer for. Because like you playing a whole bunch of Scoldings and feeling good into Solitude is great. Like 100% go for it. If it works, it works. That hasn't worked in my experience online. So it's like really easy to say, okay, I do this thing and I win games because of it. And I'm all for it. Just hasn't been working for me. So I've got to do something different or risk losing too many games. Like once you start factoring in like what's working on a case-by-case basis or a person-to-person basis, it just becomes really difficult to have any sort of like all-encompassing answer. Because like, you know, you've been here long enough. I always 100% support the argument of if it works for you, play it. Period. End of discussion. Like, you don't have to play something just because it's, say, working for me. All right. We're going to try our best to get this game over with. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Five, 6. So I can't end this in 2 attacks. I could if I just give up my entire hand to this attack. That seems not great for me. Need another consign or a harbinger. Opponent to cast a dismember. Feel like a dismember. All right. Biggest brick of 2025 right here, please. Yes! The dream's still alive. The dream is still alive. Oh man. Okay, let's get the prediction up. I'm gonna run to the bathroom between rounds real quick. Whatever thing in the ices normally have. If it's got legs, if it's even worth trying out in like a splash shell. Go from there. Read my book in Modern General. Finally got to watch the challenge video of blue-black artifacts. It depends on how much of a novel you left, because I didn't get to read much. So we're both on a mulligan. You like the Simic Birthing Ritual deck? It's cool. I think I'm missing like 10 cards from it in paper. And if I end up picking up those 10 cards, I might try it out some more. Ocelot Pride. Ocelot Pride off of a Hallowed Fountain. That mean for me? Makes sense. I really don't want to leave them with Ophelia. Like, if I take Felia, next turn they Ocelot Pride, Starfield. Do they just go get another Ocelot Pride? That might not be the worst. But they have to like spend a turn getting an Ocelot Pride. Doesn't do a ton when it comes down. Guide of Souls. That's way better for me. This now before they get access to Sink into Stupor. Block. Let me block. Come on. Come on. Draw. Strategic Betrayal. Okay. We need a better threat. It's not awful for us at the moment. No, Sink into Stupor in hand. Starfield Shepherd in exile. Gonjo. And get a Surveil, because if they have like a Felia here, I can still Strategic Betrayal. Take that. I think we're going to go ahead and Thoughtseize this Sink into Stupor. Maybe I'm not Thoughtseizing the Sink into Stupor. Maybe I'm thought seizing the Solitude. They're going to want to cast this Starfield Shepherd this turn, right? Ooh. All right. Can we find something good? We find something good before they find something good. Fourth land means if they Solitude, I'm probably just letting it go. Well, maybe not. I was going to say if they Solituded during combat, I'm definitely letting it go. But now that we are on instep, I might have to counterspell it just to try to stop a Riddler. And we'll take that. We tried 0 Point Ballad from Edge of Eternities. I was wondering if it could be desirable over Toxic Deluge in some spots to wipe X1's turn 2. So 0 Point Ballad is like the X in a black, kill everything, right? X black, kill everything. That's not the lose abilities one, is it? Or is it? Alaya. Halaya. Really don't want to counterspell this. I'll let this go. For exactly this scenario of they don't have a follow-up and I get to just strategic betrayal this away instead of burning a counterspell. Gonna have to check these cards. So 0 Point Ballad. Wan Shi Tong. So I let this enter Quan Chi Tong trigger goes on the stack. My Orcish Bowmaster, the Quan Chi Tong. Then Strategic Betrayal resolves. Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good one, unfortunately. That is an annoyingly good one. Tripled our clock, yeah, and they played a card that solos me. So I have to double block here. I don't think I need to triple block when I've got counterspell, force negation, all this. Like, best play for them is probably Solitude here. Yeah, like I wanted a target for this force negation, so this is great. That works out really well for us. Now we've got Cling to Dust with Counterspell up. All right, so I'm targeting my own Thoughtseize. I'm gonna let this go. I want to burn a counterspell on this. Could draw a Fatal Push. Pretty good too. Also good. All right, carry on. Can snap Stern Scolding. We can nothing. Opponent does nothing. I do nothing. Let's discard Force. I'm going to discard Spell Snare too. Speed up the clock. I get to draw a card. I've got Counterspell, Snap, Counterspell. And just pass back. Survey says going. Upkeep Aang Swift Savior. So I want to snap Stern Scolding this. I don't want to go for counter spell because if opponent has got something here that I can't Stern Scolding or I can't Spell Snare, I don't want them to be able to respond to my counter spell with cast something else that I can't interact with. Yay. Okay. Match 5, game 2. All the metaphorical marbles are on the line. Stern Scolding, we've got Mystical Disputes. EE is an option. EE, Awkward Indophilia. Does Aang only hit creatures that have resolved? They can't hit a spell, or they can't hit a non-land permanent, right? Only creatures, like creatures and spells. Airbend up to one other target creature or spell. Yes. Big chunk of maybe stuff. Force, I don't really want. Trim a thing in the ice. I don't really want to bounce Solitudes and Angs and stuff. I could trim 2 thing in the ice. It's probably not the worst play. Consigns in the board. Thoughtseize. Okay. Pretty good hand on the draw. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Frog. If I go into Atlanta for the Spotlight Series, I would like to. The problem I'm running into is most of the people that I would travel with are being very, very flaky on it. Like, nobody is committing to going at the moment. Some people backed out last minute because there's not going to be Star Wars there. And then some people have been saying that they were going for the last like 2 months and then deciding like, no, can't do it. All right. Pretty interesting hand. By just taking Teferi is best thing around. No, Dreamer and I are going for sure as of now. Yeah, I would like to plan to go, but I'll have to see. I guess kind of glad that I took the to ferry if they were just going to hit the land. Yeah, the Airbnbs are very, very rough downtown. Gonna pass back. I usually just book something like one of the random hotels near the convention center. Let's consider, see if we can find ad. Starfield Shepherd go. They'll gain a life and an energy here. If they get an Ocelot Pride, I can Stern Scolding. If they get a like another Guide of Souls, I might just go to my turn, play an EE on one. Very well. Start jamming frogs eventually. Get into a known path to exile. What would I like to see here? Otawara 4-drop. Not a 4-drop. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and fetch and give them the opportunity to path this frog. They're not going to do. All right, frog. Hit him. Gonna give me the draw. Interesting. I don't really like that decision on their part of just letting this frog go. Just because I'm already like pretty up on cards. Feels like a big risk to let a frog stick around when you don't have to. Let's take this Halaya out of the equation. Hopefully we can just hard cast Dispute on this Starfield Shepherd. Untap. Get another attack in with Frog. Get our other Frog down. That's a pretty good card, if I do say so myself. Pretty good one. So let's see if we draw a land before we decide on this Kaito. What? Carry on. I think anything not named Quantum Riddler, I'm thrilled with this turn. All right. I really want to hit land drops, but Kaito's just pretty freaking good at ending the game from here if I just start embleming. I should have emblemed last turn. I didn't have anything I could do with 1 mana, so there wasn't like much of a reason to. The hell is this thing? A Demi of the Skill Shoots. 2 mana, 3/2 with Flash. Pay to give it flying or pay to give creatures or sack it. Creatures you control gain hexproof and indestructible. Like, I don't really care about this, but again, like, I don't really want my opponent just having stuff on board right here. If I can stop it. We're just fighting over this. Like, Kaito plus Bowmasters is going to end the game in like 2 turns. That was the thing I did not want to see during this whole series of exchanges. Not the end of the world right here, but dropping rate would have been a lot worse. You're not wrong. Path the Frog. Got it. Love to use Path to Exile's ability. Now, do you choose to play Quantum Riddler? A lot of cards you're drawing there. Be a shame if somebody punished you for them. Okay. Oh, so you're just dead. Done that. Thing in the Ice on the trophy board, boys. Thing in the Ice on the trophy boards in 2025. They said it couldn't be done. As you can see, a trophy in our very first league with Dimir, Thing in the Ice Frog. We got a couple sweet wins. We got that win in round 1 against Hollow One, specifically because of Thing in the Ice. Thing in the Ice flipping multiple Hollow Ones and our Snapcaster to be able to snap Surgical away the Hollow Ones. We got a win in round 2 with Thing in the Ice against the Land Destruction deck. We did run into some Solitude matchups where I think Thing in the Ice is a little bit worse. When your opponent's got Solitudes and Quantum Riddlers and stuff like that on board, you don't really want to be bouncing those back to hand. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward. If those matchups are too prevalent, maybe we want to cut down to 2 Thing in the Ice or move them to the sideboard, something like that. But overall, I was very pleased. I thought the card did an excellent job in the matchups that I wanted to see it. I thought it was pretty easy cut in the matchups I don't. It's definitely going to take some configuration to get the list exactly where we want, but I was very, very optimistic about how it looked right there and looking forward to trying it out some more going forward. So other than that, hope y'all have hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your evening. Stay safe, enjoy some good food and company. I'll catch y'all back live later. Adios for now.